Catherine, thanks for turning up.
Pleasure, thank you.
I'm afraid I'm one of these sad comedy fans who keeps every flyer and every program for every show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I realised recently that I'd seen you in a show 12 years ago in Edinburgh.
Oh.
Have a look at this. Remember this show?
I do remember that show.
Lee Mack's Bits. And in tiny letters with Catherine Tate.
Catherine Tate.
And Dan Antal... They haven't even bothered to finish his name, if you look closely.
They haven't.
They just haven't
Dan
bothered.
Antopolsh is what it says. His real name is Dan Antopolsky.
Do you remember that show?
I remember it very well, with great affection and gratitude, actually.
It's a great show. I was in the front row.
Wow. In a tiny little black box studio.
In the Pleasance.
Yeah.
And I think the show might have ended, if I'm remembering rightly, with an exorcism.
Yes, it did. And mixed with a Laurel and Hardy sketch.
That's right, yeah, that's it, yeah. And vomit?
I'm sure there was a bit of projectile vomiting. What Edinburgh show would be complete without one?
So what stage of your career was that?
Pretty early, actually. That was what kind of got me my break. I'd been doing stand-up on the circuit, and Lee Mack had seen me and thought, oh, she's quite good at voices. And I remember he asked me to do a voiceover on a show he was doing for TV. I don't know if you ever got it. It was a stand-up show called Gas.
No.
It was a stand-up show for all the kind of new comics. And I remember thinking, oh, they never booked me to be on the actual show. They did book me to voice the end credits. And from then, he then said to me, oh, do you fancy coming to Edinburgh to do the festival? I want to do a sketch show this year, not stand-up. And I definitely wanted to go to Edinburgh. So I did his show, and I was on a triple bill doing stand-up that year as well.
Right, and what was your stand-up? Explain what that was.
It was kind of run-of-the-mill. I didn't do characters or anything like that.
Right.
I just did kind of observational, anecdotal stuff. And I liked doing stand-up.
Right.
But what happened was then, the next year, we went up. We got nominated for the Perrier.
Yeah.
Which I think my career could have gone in two different ways, actually. But I then got a job with the Royal Shakespeare Company, with the RSC.
Right.
And because I'd been to drama school, theatre was my real love, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So just as I was probably going to make waves in the comedy side of the industry, I left it all behind to go to the West End to do a play.
So what happened to the stand-up act? Just jettisoned?
It just went.
Never returned to?
It never went, because from then I came back from the world tour and went to Edinburgh the next year, because the year before I'd been nominated for the Perrier. You know, you sort of think, well, capitalise on that, because you can say on your poster, Perrier nominee. And I took my own show.
And what was that show? It
was the Catherine Tate Show. It was a very kind of fledgling version of the show that went on TV.
Right.
I had one other actor with me, and I think I did 5 characters.
Wow.
And filled out what is called an Edinburgh hour, which is about 45 minutes.
That's great, isn't it?
Couldn't quite make it stretch. And I remember, in fact, I remember on my first preview, a very early incarnation of a character that I do called Derek Fay.
I love that character.
Well, I mean, obviously the thing is, when I was starting doing the show live in Edinburgh, there was no prosthetic, obviously.
No, right,
There was no makeup or anything like that. So I thought, well, how am I going to get to play a man convincingly? And I thought, well, what I'll do is I will be a male drag queen. So I was actually a woman being a man, pretending to be a woman. And I thought, that's how I get away with looking like a woman. But I put on a ginger moustache. And wore a kind of a leopard skin caftan. And because on my first preview I didn't even have my 45-minute Edinburgh hour, I remember padding it out with an entire rendition, mimed, of the trolley song from the Judy Garland.
Really?
Yeah.
Clang, clang, clang.
St. Louis story, is that what it is?
Yeah, with Judy Garland.
Yeah. And it was about 3 minutes, 50 seconds, that thing. And I sort of remember halfway through thinking, oh, they seem to still be here, so I'll just carry on. I was just miming it, literally to pad it out.
Was there a backlash? Perrier nominee?
Do you know what? There wasn't. In fact, I did actually cut that out very soon afterwards
Right.
because I thought this is begging it a little bit.
It's a fun song, though.
It's a fun song to see someone in a ginger moustache do. But I did cut it out quite quickly and added a new character which went into my show. But I hadn't got this character at the beginning of the Edinburgh Festival. I went and wrote it in an all-night internet cafe about 3 sort of nights in, when my agent said, "You've obviously got to do something better than that miming thing." And that's when I did the Irish nurse character.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now, Derek,
Yeah.
the makeup is incredible.
Yeah.
Really. What was it like seeing that for the first time?
Well, I think I was in makeup about 4 hours for that the first time round, because it's an entire head. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just a bald cap.
No.
It's an entire head.
It's great from the back.
Yeah, because it's a proper head and neck and shoulders, so it actually makes me look bigger than I am. But the thing is, because I'm quite moaning, I wasn't that impressed after 4 hours of sitting in makeup. I see it on camera and I think, no, it's a very good transformation, but I think my first comment was, right, how long does it take to get out of it?
Someone on the internet, someone was pointing out that Rupert Murdoch is turning into that character.
Really?
So I figured
What,
that...
you mean in looks?
In looks. And I'm getting the feeling that you, with that makeup, could perhaps play Rupert Murdoch.
Yes, I probably could.
When it's finally called for.
Yeah, when the time comes, when I get the call.
That's right.
I'll step into that.
I've read somewhere, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you...
You're wrong.
I'm wrong already. I'm not going to quote...
You've read it, you're wrong.
It's not from Wikipedia. You were a fan of French and Saunders.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me some of the names that you, when you started out, that you liked when you were a kid.
Well, it's French and Saunders. We had this brilliant show when I was at school called Girls on Top.
Oh, with that... Well, that was with
Tracy Ullman,
French and
Saunders and Ruby Wax.
Yeah, that's right.
I loved...
Victoria Wood.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely.
She was great.
Victoria Wood, just massive.
Acorn Antiques.
Acorn Antiques.
It's impossible
Absolutely brilliant.
to see something that's about a show being made badly without thinking of Acorn Antiques.
And, of course, Acorn Antiques was, I think, based upon a show that we got here years ago. I think they did a revamp of it a little while ago, but it was years ago, and it was called Crossroads. Did you ever have Crossroads?
Yeah, we got that in New Zealand.
Yeah.
That and dodgy sets.
And the sets used to shake and things like that, and I think that was the inspiration for Acorn Antiques. Yeah, Victoria Wood, massive influence. Julie Waters, massive influence. And, obviously, you know, when I was growing up, Morecambe and Wise, the two Ronnies.
Sure. But French and Saunders, were they the first women to play men with the remember that latex makeup? It was incredible. I don't think there'd been anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think so. I also think they were the first... I remember seeing them for the first time on Wogan, you know, Terry Wogan.
Yeah.
He used to have his own, I think it was Saturday night show. And these two kind of women came on and started doing a bit of a skit, you know, one pretending to be like a surly teenager and the other one being the mother, and I just thought that was the best thing I'd ever seen. You know, it was just brilliant, yeah.
And what was the first thing you ever did? What was your first TV appearance?
My first TV appearance was in The Bill, I imagine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a rite of passage, I think.
Chased through a building site?
Pretty much, yeah. You just have to say, he was last seen round the Jasmine Allen estate, but he don't come from round here, he's gone round the back. It was, I think it was that thing. In fact, they were my lives.
I remember that one.
Yeah. And then I think I went on to be in The Bill about 3 times. Because,
as the same person?
No,
or?
different characters, because when I left drama college, there was a policy in The Bill that as long as you'd been out of The Bill for 8 months, you could go back into The Bill.
Oh, right.
As a different character. So you pretty much thought of it as a job for life.
Okay.
At least you knew you were going to get 1 job a year.
Now, I'm just going to run through a couple of other shows that we would have seen you in Australia. Big Train.
Yeah.
You were in the second series of that?
I was in the second series.
That's the longest gap between first and second series, that one. It's like 5 years or something.
Well, it's about 8 between the next one that's coming up, the third series.
Are they doing one?
No.
No.
I don't know if they
liked it.
Oh, it was good fun, yeah. No, when Big Train came out, Big Train was really big news, you know.
It had really small
series.
Acting, and there was a style to it that seemed new
so
before
specific.
The Office.
Yeah, exactly. It was so specific.
Yeah.
And brilliant. And then, and then they did a really big gap. And then the second series came along, and
they were just waiting for you, for your availability.
My availability, yeah.
Another show which never played in Australia, but I saw tapes of it, was Simon Munnery's show called Attention Scum. You were in that?
You're right. I think I might have been in it. God, I would have never remembered that.
Imagine having so many credits that you can't even remember.
It's not that. I think I've no idea what I was doing. And actually, now you come to mention it, yes, I do. I can't remember what it was about or anything like that. And
it was pretty bizarre. I'm not sure what it was about.
It was a bizarre thing. And I just remember having to look into the sun and thinking, oh, God, I think I'm squinting. And I imagine they cut me out of it. It was a tiny little part. But, yeah, God, I do remember that.
OK, now, I'm going to run through some stuff from the Catherine Tate Show. And
is it a quiz?
I'm not going to ask you where your characters come from. I saw you do a thing where you said that you claimed your characters came from a shop.
That's right. I said... quite early on, it was a researcher for a TV show. No. It was a journalist who said, you know, where'd you get characters from? And I started getting them from character shop called... I can't remember what I said it was called. I think I said it was called Someone Pike and Son. And they said, oh, where's that? And I started, it's just off Tottenham Court Road. And you just you buy them.
They just run you up one.
Yeah, they're just kind of off the peg characters. Just buy that. Anyway, she printed it, and then of course, more for me. It then becomes true.
Right.
And then a researcher on an interview program I did
stuck with it forever.
So you buy characters in Someone Pike and Son. I can't remember what it was. And you have to go, people, I'm joking. You know, but it does. You know, it's just like it doesn't cross their mind that you might be joking.
No.
Or indeed that there isn't a shop you can actually buy TV characters.
No, because you think just everyone would have their own show.
You might have known that.
Surely. Well, I'm just going to go through some of the characters. Lauren.
Some of them were on special offer.
Yeah, all characters must go.
2 for 1.
The character of Lauren. Now, what was interesting about that character was you killed her off.
I did, yeah.
Well,
let me just say the body's never been found.
Right. Oh,
Very ready to trot it out when I
really
when things dry up.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a bold move to.
It is. I think it. Yeah. I think it just came at the point where I just thought, I just don't want to say it anymore.
Say the catchphrase.
Yeah.
Did you have word of the year or something? Was that right?
I got the word bothered into... It is now recognised in the Oxford Dictionary.
Really?
Yeah, in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Correctly spelled?
Yeah, the way I spell it, yeah, because because something can be included into the dictionary if it has kind of infiltrated the language and people have adopted it and it's become regular parlance, and that's amazingly what happened. But yeah, yes, I think it did get word of the year.
Word of the year.
Yeah.
I saw I hadn't seen it. The scene you did with Tony Blair.
Oh yeah.
For Comic Relief, how good was his acting?
Well, it's worryingly good.
It's really good, and lots of coverage too. And
yeah, lots of coverage.
Yeah, I'm going. Hang on, he's done this a few times. He's matching in the tights,
definitely.
The wides.
Yeah. He was surprisingly amenable to everything we offered up to him, and had his own suggestions, and was thoroughly accommodating to us. Yeah.
Wasn't quite enough to distract people from the war, but
no. But I think
maybe if he'd done a series.
If he'd done a series, yeah. If he'd let me do it with my old lady character, he'd have got a bit more credit.
And the other piece of footage that is amazing to see is with you on the Royal Variety Show.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that, just barrelling the Queen, just going her. Just relentlessly going her.
Yeah, it's all in the name of comedy.
I know, but it's like...
Right.
You wouldn't have seen that in the old days.
No.
Did you call my mum a prostitute?
Yeah.
You're saying to her. And they don't cut to her. That's interesting, because you see her laughing early on.
Yeah.
And then once you start, there's obviously someone in some protocol that said that you can't cut to her.
Well, I think it was the first year that they did cut to the Queen.
Right.
Apparently.
Just pissing herself.
She loved it.
Did you meet
That's
her
for Philip.
afterwards?
Yes, you
What'd she
get
say?
to do the thing. She said to me, well, it was certainly a variety show, wasn't it?
Right.
Which I thought was perfectly nice. And when I
Yeah.
told Graham Norton that, he said, oh, that's dreadful. And I said, why? And he said, well, she's saying you're not very good.
It's a backhand.
I didn't think it was at all. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. And Prince Philip went, well, talking so fast.
Oh, right.
And that was it.
Okay.
But of course, the next day on the tabloid news, it made headlines because they'd said that they were so outraged.
Right, okay.
And of course they weren't.
No, but they have to be.
They have to be, yeah.
They have to be disgusted.
Yeah.
Nan. I think it even made the news in Australia about one of your Christmas specials. There was so many complaints about swearing with your Nan character.
Did it?
Yeah. What I think was the key thing when I read the article was it said that you had come on after the return of To the Manor Born.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, well, of course there'll be complaints.
To Middle England watching To the Manor Born.
Yeah.
But this is a show that went out at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
With a warning saying this contains strong language. And what happened was it got 25 complaints.
Oh, right.
25 complaints.
That's not very many.
That's not very many
No.
out of 7 million people.
Not to make news in Australia.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
have thought.
but the way it was spun was, because it got 25 complaints on Christmas Day, but by Boxing Day, 75 more people had complained, making a total of 100 people.
Right.
But of course what happened was, the story that got spun was, the number of complaints has quadrupled overnight.
Oh, my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So people think people are complaining 1,000. And when I spoke to my agent, and I said, oh, right, how many people? And she said 100. And I thought she meant 100,000 for that amount of
Right.
coverage.
Yeah, right.
I genuinely thought she meant 100,000 people had complained. And I thought, ooh, that's quite a body blow. That's quite a lot of people. Then I thought, well, I think about 7 million people watched it.
So that's still not
we're
too
still
bad.
kind of in the majority. And I sort of said that, and she went, no, 100 people. And I just thought, are you joking?
And probably some of them are the same person.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
well,
speed dialing.
45 of them were me. Because we made it in the July. I watched that Christmas special with my family on Christmas Day. I was appalled.
It's a disgrace.
I was appalled at it. There was too much swearing in it. I can say that myself.
British TV is so sweary now anyway.
It
the
is.
News, I think the newsreaders
The
are...
newsreaders say another fucking disaster.
OK, now, I'm not sure the name of this character, but I love that the woman who was unhappy with the brie...
Oh, what do we call her? Just basic name.
The name changed, I think,
Argus
from series to
Saga.
series.
Sure, certainly her wig did, definitely.
Right.
Argus Saga woman, yeah.
Arga being a brand of stove? Or?
Yes, it's a big stove that you have in kind of country houses. And it's very much a status symbol to have an Arga.
Right.
It's considered old money and, you know, well-bred.
In Australia, if you have a Smeg product.
Right, yeah.
It's an unattractive name, I think, for an
It
appliance.
is very much, especially when they put it right in the middle of the door.
I know, in the kitchen.
I know.
So where food's being prepared.
It's not good.
But it's a very statusy thing to have some smeg in the kitchen.
Yes. Well, Argas are very coveted like that. And I don't know whether I overheard someone or I read it, and it was just this idea that people were genuinely taking this seriously enough to go writing a note to her. It was writing a note to her husband saying, darling, I've got to go out, but can you fix your own supper? Can you bear to finish the brie? Can you bear? The brie's terribly ripe. Can you bear to finish it? As if this would be the worst thing you could possibly, you know, ask someone to do.
Here's something. You did something on your show that actually happened in Australia.
What was that?
There was an actress, a well-known Australian actress who I won't name, who was on a film. That's right.
Really?
And shot half the scene on Friday, flew to Hollywood, had the lips done, came back. Monday, the rest of the scene wouldn't match.
Oh.
And then there it is on your show.
Because we just thought, what a funny thing to do.
No, that really happened with...
I said that without my lips moving.
Yeah, so
Is
they
that
can
true?
beat behind my hand. Yeah, that's true.
And it's quite... Because I'm always amazed
Yeah,
at...
I met someone who worked on the film and they said, well, you know, it wasn't going to match.
Oh, was it lips or was it... Because there's a lot of that going on.
That was the lips, it wasn't... I think this was digital.
Right.
In the film we're talking about. Digital facial expressions.
Isn't it amazing, though?
There it was.
That's amazing.
Because I just assumed you'd heard that story.
No.
No. There you go.
Because I didn't actually think anyone would be that foolish.
Prescient satire. Oh, look, I love it when, you know, when you see something and you go, I'm sure they've just done that because that was amusing them around the office. The actress...
Because no one else found it funny.
No, but they're some of the best ones sometimes. The actress who kept slipping into Frankie Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. That wasn't even... well, do you know what? This is like a golden... is it the Golden Goose Chase or something? This because none of us can remember where that idea came from.
Right.
I'm almost certain it wasn't mine.
Right.
And then everyone else goes, no, it was yours. But I don't know where that came from,
no,
actually.
that was a beauty.
But it was a funny thing to do because it was just sort of left field, wasn't it? But it's that thing you sort of think, in the end, you can only go with what really makes you laugh and hope that other people go with it,
And then, it was only 3 series, wasn't there?
There were 3 series and 3 Christmas specials and comic relief stuff, yeah.
3's sort of the magic number, isn't it, for sketch comedy?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fast Show.
Yeah.
Lexi Sales Stuff.
Right,
Little Britain. All just 3.
Yeah.
Monty Python should have stopped at 3. That 4th one's unwatchable.
Do you know, I don't really know much. Do you know, to my shame, I know there's a sketch about a parrot.
No women have ever watched Monty Python, that's my theory.
Is that true? Yeah, it must be true, because...
I don't know any women who like Monty Python.
I know there's a sketch about my parrot's dead.
That's right, that's pretty much it.
I've never seen another one. And is there something about a lumberjack?
There's a lumberjack, there's something about spam. There's a lot of stuff about spam.
I have not seen that.
So you wound that up, and then on to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And were you with Doctor Who? No, you weren't, were you?
Don't think I'd ever seen one.
And you were the Doctor's assistant.
Yeah.
Did you take over from Kylie Minogue?
What? Oh, God. No,
there'll be people on the internet going...
I took people... That's...
How does she not know that?
Blasphemy. Oh, I know, it is terrible. I mean, I didn't even know that Doctor Who didn't always... Well, he's not called Doctor Who, is he? He's called the Doctor.
That's misleading.
Again, I didn't know that. Why...
In fact, I've no idea why it's called Doctor Who.
I think it's because everyone kept saying he always called himself the Doctor, and people go, Doctor Who?
I don't think that ever happened.
Is that not right?
I don't it sounds like that would be the answer, but...
why has it not got a question mark at the beginning of it?
It's wrong.
Or at the end of it?
Mystifying.
It's really bad. Do you know, I don't even know where I came in. I know I took... You see, because I came into it on a Christmas special, and then a series later... And another Christmas special later, yeah, that's right, I took over.
I think it was Kylie Minogue.
Well, it was Billy initially.
Yeah, it's so
because
confusing.
I came out of from the end of the 2nd series, when Rose goes, I turn up as a bride on a Christmas special that I wasn't supposed to come back for at all. It was just a self-contained thing. A bit like Kylie's one, do you know what I mean? You're just there for one special. And then I leave and he meets Freema, he meets Martha Jones. Then she goes, he meets Kylie, and then Kylie goes, and then he meets me again.
He has a lot of women, Doctor Who, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
He pulls the birds.
He does indeed pull the birds.
What about do you have to go on the convention circuit? Is that something you could have for your retirement? No, but you can look forward to it in later years.
Listen, everyone needs a pension.
You've worked with Ronnie Corbett.
Yes, recently I did.
The One Ronnie. What's that? The
One Ronnie. Well, it was a kind of celebration of Ronnie's, because I think Ronnie was 80 this year, and it was certainly a retrospective look at his career. And Matt Lucas and David Walliams, that lot, they, I think, had the idea of saying, well, what about if Ronnie has his own sketch show? But let's get people in. And we kind of recreated classic to Ronnie's sketches, which you realise was in one hand great, and it was very flattering to be part of it, but you realise that if you were doing a sketch with Ronnie Corbett, essentially you were supposed to be Ronnie Barker, and that's quite a, it's quite a big ask.
Yeah, right.
But he was lovely and amazing.
Still going.
Really.
No stopping him.
Really impressive, yeah.
And now you're in the Hollywood movies. You in that Gulliver's Travels that's out?
I was in that Gulliver's Travels.
I haven't seen it. Is there more of that on the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Going to be a Bond villain?
Again, I don't know. I'd very much like to. My diary's open. No, I'm doing a play at the moment in the National Theatre, and then when I finish that, David Tennant and I, Mr. the Doctor himself, Mr. Who, we are going into the West End to do William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay, back to the proper theatre.
Back to the. But it's a comedy.
Well, you know, it's been great stuff so far.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking us through the whole story today.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.